Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is part 40 of the woman that married a man that didn't exist. There's a playlist in case you are seeing this for the first time. The playlist is in the description. Go find it so you can start from the beginning. And I'll be doing it in parts, but later I'll try to merge them together, and upload for people that want to watch it at the stretch. That one, it takes a lot of time to upload. The network in my country is not fast, so even this part, this one part, it takes a long time to even upload. So you can imagine all the work. But yeah, I'll do it. So
Part
let's
40 of
continue
How I Married a
for
Man
those
That
that are
Didn't
up to date.
Exist. So Sunday morning came, and I remember we went out for a drive that morning so he could get beer for his trip because he was leaving. And we all know that he was drinking and driving. If he was driving, he was drinking. So I knew the time was coming, he'd be leaving. And it was almost like watching a train wreck and not being able to stop it, like not being able to do anything. I felt completely out of control, and I felt completely powerless. It was like I had to go along with it, because what else was I gonna do? Like, he knew I wasn't happy about it. He knew I had been really upset and protesting. He knew I had been sick. Mind you, this has been a week now at this point where I had been throwing up every day, multiple times a day. I wasn't keeping food down. I was barely keeping water down. My sleep was not great. I just was not well. And he still decided to go because that was his final answer. So I cried in his arms and I begged him not to go. And he could find work at home instead. He did not have to go so far to find work. I didn't understand the principle behind this. So he told me that being gone would be good bonding for me and the kids and for me and his mom. And I was so confused by this because we already had a good bond. Like, we bonded enough. Like, not enough, but we had a good relationship. There was no gap there. It was almost as if he felt like without him there, I was going to grow these relationships where they had already been grown. I had already established a great relationship with each girl individually and with his mom. I was very, very close with his mom. So
I don't understand. Why does she need to bond with his children and not him? That is the main reason she came into the house. What kind of mentality is that? It seems he just dishes us whatever lies he likes to have without any care in the world. Well, it's just that I keeps expecting from the man. Like, from the first video, I don't know, maybe it's my personality. From the first video, I knew that this man is no good. So there's nothing good he's gonna do. And he's proving me right. Like, I told you guys that I don't think anything this man does would be surprising to me, because it is in his nature. He doesn't have anything to offer. So they are the one expecting so much from him. And the mother already knows the son she gave birth to. It's just her. And that's the mother of that man is also wicked. He keeps feeding her lies. And she's here thinking that, oh, this woman likes me. She accepted me to her home. Lie. She's looking for someone that will, enable
that was
her
just
son
another
just like her.
excuse. He promised, give it a week. If after a week you absolutely hate it, I'll come back home. And I said, do you promise? Swear on my life. He said yes. I already knew in my mind I was going to wait a week, and I was going to tell him I hated it. Why would I say, oh, this isn't so bad? I knew a week was going to go by, and I was going to tell him to get his ass back home. You promised me. I also made him promise that he would call me every day, that he would say goodnight, and that he would keep the
You see what I said? She still has so much hope in them. I don't blame her. Like, I'm happy that I saw videos. Like, I saw this video because I'm getting to understand people in this situation, how their mind works. Because she's still expecting so much from the man. Still expecting him to promise a man that cannot even help himself. He wants him to take a
communication
promise to
open.
you.
So pretty much I better
That's
be
too
hearing
much,
from your
actually.
ass. We're still married. We still have children. This is still your home. You're just off to go support your family, which I thought was bullshit the entire time. And he promised. He said, I promise I'll call you every day. I'll call you before work, after work, you know, we'll be texting. I'll call to talk to the girls every night, and I'll call to tell you good night every single night. And I believed his ass. And I'm like, okay, he's going to do this very drastic thing. He's at least going to talk to me. He's at least going to call me. He called me his beautiful wife. He told me I love you so much. He always knew how to soften the blow. And now this is, remember, where the breadcrumbing started. So it was intense love bombing. And now after we're married, it's breadcrumbing. So anytime he gave me this little bit, I ate it up and I just melted, because it had been on and off since I had heard these things. Like, they were not as consistent as they used to be. There was a lot more fighting in between. And now, at this point, I was scared of him. I saw like the life drain out of his eyes. I saw how cold he could be, and it really shook me. So then when he went back to being sweet and I love you, you're my wife, I'm so happy I married you, our wedding day was amazing, I was like, okay girl, things are going to be okay. So he didn't even let me know when he got there, which wow. I don't know why that surprised me, but it did. He told me as soon as he got there, he was so tired, he had fallen asleep. He was trying to get his room set up. And at this point, you have to realize how bad my anxiety was. After this man disappeared for 3 days straight, if I didn't have him in my sight, I was freaking out. I really thought he was going to disappear and I was never going to hear from him again. I was traumatized. So anytime he didn't pick up the phone, anytime we weren't communicating, and anytime that he just wasn't around, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. The experience of him disappearing and me not being able to get in touch with him, and just how distraught I was, that stuck with me, and that was not a feeling that I could get rid of no matter how hard I tried. So I was just sick. Like, I was not doing well. I had just started my new job. Things were just really, really tricky, and I was trying to balance being a mom, being a wife, being a new employee when I've already called out on this brand new job. I didn't know which way to turn. So I was still finding my place in this house, and not having him there felt really awkward. So I loved them. I loved his mom. I loved those girls very much. But for whatever reason, when he wasn't there and I was just there by myself, I felt very out of place. It was very, like, ominous almost. I had never been there without him before. He was always there. So now I'm trying to navigate who I am in this home without my husband. Yes, the girls call me mom. I call them my daughters. Me and his mom had a great relationship at this time, but I didn't know how I fit in. So the following weekend was the middle girl's birthday, and he had made a promise to be home by Saturday for her party. Her birthday was actually that following Monday. So during the week, there were more unanswered video calls than not, and I started to notice that he was non-responsive past like 8 or 9 p.m. When we did talk...
Didn't I tell you guys? He's, of course, by now, I think we all know that he's with a woman, right? We know, right? She's the only one that didn't know at that time that this man has come back to stay with a woman. He saw maybe it could be a new woman or the old flame that he went to rekindle. So this brings me to a question I want to ask. Do you think she should have waited a while to know his kind of person before, agreeing to date him, to even marry him? Like, they went at a speed. I know that there are people that it has worked for. Those are people that if you are discerning enough to know that, okay, I feel right with this person has shown me, even though it's in a short period of time, that he or she is deserving of my love or to stay with, to do life with.
It was a lot of arguing. I was struggling very, very much. So the weekend came and he did not show up on Saturday. So I don't exactly remember what day we had planned to do something for the middle girl. Like I said, her birthday was Monday. I do remember we had taken them out somewhere and he hadn't shown up. She was in the car and she broke down. Now, the middle girl was a firecracker. She was like a tomboy, kind of like tough attitude. To see her cry was very difficult. She was like, he can be there for everybody else, but not for me. Like, he didn't show up for my birthday. And she didn't know it at the time, and she couldn't had. But all I could think of was, he's not there for anybody but himself. During the week, he hadn't even called our daughters.
Yeah.
I couldn't get him on the phone, much less him calling to check on them. Anytime that the girls wanted to talk to him, we had to call him. We had to initiate that. And a lot of times he didn't pick up. He never once called and said, hey, let me talk to the girls. So I remember Sunday past 2, he never came. He said, oh, I'll come tomorrow. I'll come tomorrow. Tomorrow never came. Monday, her birthday came, and she's sitting at the kitchen table and she's decorating cupcakes. So that is a little tradition we had with the girls. We had asked them, do you guys want a cake or do you want to make your own cupcakes? They loved baking. They loved crafting. They always chose to bake their own. So I would go in the kitchen with them and we would bake their cupcakes. And once they cooled, we'd sit at the table and we would divvy up the cupcakes between the girls. And we would all just sit there and decorate them. And it was just a really good time. And they were super excited because they had their birthday cake, but they had made it themselves. So she's sitting at the dining room table and she is decorating these cupcakes, and he still hadn't shown up. Every time a car passed, every time anybody heard any kind of movement past the house, everybody ran to the door, ran to the window to look to see if he was here. Because I think everybody was praying for a miracle. Everybody was praying that he was still going to show up, and he just never did. He did talk to her for her birthday that night, and she was very upset. But she did not verbalize to him exactly how deeply that had affected her. So she had told me a lot of stuff. She had told me how selfish it was, how she's tired of his behavior, how she's tired of his actions. But when she got on the phone with him, and I can understand this because she was 12, she was daddy's girl. And she did not have her voice to tell him essentially how fucked up he was. And how horrible and upsetting it was that he had promised to be there on her birthday, the day that she was born into this world, and he never showed up for her. Let's get into part 41.
The man does not know how to show up for anybody. He can't even show up for himself. If you don't love yourself, it's hard for you to love other people the way they ought to be loved. And then listen to her in this episode, even with the children and all. You know, people with abandonment issue, I think they tend to have quality time as their love language because they want to spend time, and that's why you see them loving baking. When she said they enjoy baking, it's not like they enjoy the activity in itself, even though they might or they could enjoy it. But it's that time they get to spend with everybody with her. They don't get to have it often. So now they see somebody that's willing to spend time with them, involve them. They want to spend as much as they can. That's what I got from that. But you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. Well, let's see you in part 41. Don't forget to like and subscribe.